Hello, team. Welcome to Hyderabad's another virtual event. Vishal and I co-host this event, and today we have session speaker as Augusto Davalos, who is going to speak on tips and tricks to ace your site code and administration certification exams. So let's delve into the session. Augusto, over to you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Yamini. Thank you, Vishal. I'm very happy to be back here in SUGHYD session. It was last year that we met here. And I wanted to welcome everybody and thank you for joining today's session on tips and tricks to ace your Sitecore 10 System Administration Certification exam. Today, I will be guiding you through the essentials you need to know to successfully prepare and pass this exam. Take into consideration is a lot of information. So these will be some key topics, and then you need to investigate and practice, especially because it's very vast. It's not a simple exam, to put it, and it's not just about passing the exam. Of course, it's about building the confidence to handle real world scenarios that you will encounter as a Sitecore administrator. So we're going to cover 8 competences outlined by Sitecore and share some tips, explore key topics and that you should focus. So let's get started. Okay. So here's our agenda. So it's an introduction. Then we're going to speak a little bit about what is Sitecore 10 System Administration Certification. We're going to go through these 8 competences, tips, tip management, time management, and then a quick recap. Um, I'm Augusto Davalos. I'm a project manager at Ocean Inc. We're a partner of Sitecore. I'm a Sitecore MVP Ambassador 2024. I got this year the Sitecore 10 System Administrator certification, and I've been more than 14 years working with different projects, process engineering, process improvement. I'm also a co-founder of SUG Latam, and here you can find some of my contact information. And okay, let's get started with the main topic. Okay, so Sitecore 10 System Admin certification. Why should we get it? So obtaining this certification can significantly impact both your career and the organization you work for. Since you will deep dive into platform capabilities, you will explore the main functionalities and features of Sitecore 10. You will become very familiar with each of these aspects in the platform, from control panel to complex workflows. You will develop the ability to navigate and resolve common issues and challenges that arise in the day-to-day management of Sitecore environments, boosting your confidence as an administrator. Better understand Sitecore architecture is key to optimizing its performance and scalability. And in today's digital landscape, the lines between IT and marketing are increasingly blurred. So marketers rely heavily on robust, adaptable content management systems to deliver personalized and engaging customer experiences. So as a certified Sitecore 10 system administrator with digital marketing background, you're uniquely positioned to understand technical issues of the platform and how they align with marketing goals. If you're a developer, then it will also boost your understanding of the potential of Sitecore 10, and you will be able to add more value to your teams, to your business and marketing colleagues, and make better suggestions for your customers and clients. Driving digital transformation is also where organizations are constantly evolving their digital strategies. So to stay competitive, it is very important. And Sitecore, as a leading digital experience platform, it's central to many companies' digital transformation efforts. Uh, a deep understanding of Sitecore 10 will allow you to implement best practices for performance, optimization, security, and scalability. So this ensures that the platform runs smoothly and efficiently, minimizing downtime and maximizing user satisfaction. And then How is the system administrator certification exam? So it's 50 questions, multiple choice test on Sitecore system administration competencies. And the test is a multiple choice question. You will have 100 minutes to complete this test. Your exam session will be proctored, so it means you need to turn on your camera. It will not allow you to have anything else open on your laptop. It is not an open book exam, so you cannot have information or, let's say, post-its there, because they might ask you to turn on the camera and show a pane of your room, let's say. And while there are no specific prerequisites for this certification exam, I do recommend that you complete Learning Sitecore's System Administrator Study Guide that Learning Sitecore offers, uh, which was specifically designed to support this exam preparation. I also suggest that you have prior experience with Sitecore XP10 solution. So, and then I finally recommend that you will allow yourself ample time to review this study guide and prepare for the exam. To become a certified Sitecore 10 system administrator, you must demonstrate fundamental knowledge, skills, and abilities that are integral to this role. So these expectations help ensure that anyone who is certified possesses specific competences and can perform work critical tasks related to the administrator of Sitecore XP. Other information about the exam, it's about 350 US dollars, so United States dollars. You go through Sitecore web assessor, through Criterion web assessor app, and you just access your Sitecore Okta and you will be able to register there. Okay, so let's dive into our first competency. So it's navigating the control panel. So first, this is the dashboard, the Sitecore Launchpad. This is a gateway to manage your entire platform. It's where you will find all the tools and settings needed to maintain and configure your Sitecore environment. Think of this as the cockpit of an airplane. And just as a pilot must know how to operate every control to fly safely, a Sitecore administrator must understand every section of the control panel to manage the system effectively. So here you will find the commerce section. Then you will find the marketing analytics. Here you have email experience manager, forms, experience optimization, campaign creator, path analyzer, marketing control panel. So this is focused into marketing. Then you have the content editing section where you will have the content editor, the experience editor. At that time where this exam and the study guide was worked on, they had Horizon. And you have the media library, workbox, and recycling. Then you have the control panel here, where you have the control panel access, an update center, and desktop. And then you have the access management. Here you will have the user manager, the security editor, the access viewer, domain manager, role manager. Then within this control panel, so once you go to the dashboard, as we saw, then you dive into the control panel section, which is a key place to focus because the exam also wants you to focus here. You will find different sections. You have the My Settings. Here you will be able to set up your personal settings such as desktop background, change application options. So you will specify which elements show in the content editor and in the drag and drop dialog box for your upload media files. You can change your password here, change personal information like email, portrait. Here you will set up your region and language options, your preferred language for your Sitecore. And here you will be able to reset your settings to the default settings. You will find also here you have the database where you will rebuild linked databases and clean up databases. These are key things that you might find in questions that they might ask you, like where should I go to reset my password? Where should I go to unlock somebody? The administrator, for example. Where should I rebuild linked databases? This is in the control panel section. Or where should I export languages? You have it here in control panel as well. You also have a section of administration tools where you will have, administration, where you will have administration tools, um, license details, how to install a package or an update. You can also, you have the section of reports where you will scan databases for broken links. This is also, at least in my case, that was one of the questions also of the exam. Where can I fix a broken link, or where can I scan for broken links? So the answer is in the control panel in the report section. You have a security section for user manager, role manager, an indexing section where you can populate the Solar managed schema and your indexing manager, and analytics where you can deploy your marketing definitions. And that was competency number 1. Now let's move on competency 2, which is workflow and publishing. In Sitecore, workflow are vital for managing content creation and ensuring that only approved content is published to your website. So this is specifically important for organizations that require strict review and approval process for the content. There are big companies that have tons of content editors that they need to go through approval. So this is where you set up the basis. A workflow in Sitecore typically includes several states, so such as draft. Well, in this example, we don't have it, but the typical is draft, awaiting approval, and approved, the states. And each state can have specific actions or commands, and they will move it to the next state or sending notification to reviewers, for example. And these you also have to have a clear understanding what is a state, what is a command, what is an action. So a state are basically building blocks of a workflow. So in this example, you have the editing state, the reviewing state, and the published state. Then you have the commands. So within these states, what can you do? You can submit your draft, let's say the changes you've done, and then the person that is reviewing can approve or reject it. And then you have also the actions, which are automatically performed on items when they reach a specific workflow state. So for example, once you're in review, you approve an item in Sitecore, it will move to published and it will auto-publish automatically. And this will be the end of the workflow state. About publishing, so it's updating content on the website is called publishing. Publishing is the process of making content visible to visitors on the website. So when items are edited in Sitecore and saved, they are stored in the master database, where content items are drafts are stored. And the master database stores all versions of all data, including unapproved changes. For
Hello,
website
hello.
visitors, hello, yeah?
So
For
how we should publish everything?
Sorry to interrupt. Could you please ask questions at the in the chat or at the end of the session?
Okay, okay.
Okay, but yeah, to go through that, uh, there are 2 ways to publish in Sitecore. You can either publish an item or you have the option to publish the site. So when you publish the site, it will publish the whole site, and that will take resources and time. But sometimes you just change something on a specific page and you have this special Sitecore allows you to have this, for example, smart publish, that it will only publish the differences between source and target database. So for example, between web and master database. You can republish everything of that item or a specific page. Sometimes this is done to trigger a re-indexing. And you can choose to publish with sub-items or sub-related items, or publish it in the different languages that you might have in your page. And you can also publish in different targets. These I haven't seen applied, at least in my experience. Usually you only publish to production, let's say to the web, and that's it. But there are some cases that I've heard that here you have the setup to publish to QA or to production environments, but that I haven't seen I've always seen you have a specific environment for QA where you publish everything to QA, and a specific instance for production where when you publish, you just publish to production. Then moving on to competency 3, user and role management. As a Sitecore system administrator, one of your key responsibilities is to manage user roles effectively. This ensures that the right people have the access to the right part of the system. So like I said, maybe you need somebody reviewing what you've worked on your content before being published or being approved. Also, you can work with this with the user manager. And in Sitecore, security access is controlled by 3 levels. So user, an individual user, you can assign a specific access or rights to an individual user by role, so a collection of users, a group of users, or by domain, which is a collection of security accounts, so users and roles, that you can administer as a unit with common rules. Usually I've seen applied that you have either roles or users. Domain I haven't applied yet, at least in my projects. Sitecore contains 3 default domains. Just in case, you have the extranet, which is the domain that focuses on website security, holding user accounts that represent visitors to the site. The Sitecore domain, which is at the core of Sitecore internal working. This domain handles internal security. It's where users with access to Sitecore clients reside, and it also defines roles that impact what users can do. It's the behind the scenes hub where Sitecore magic happens. And then you have the default domain where you can think as a virtual space that exists only in the digital realm. Sitecore sets extranet as the default domain, making most user accounts anonymous when they visit the website. And if no default domain is specified, then users take this default anonymous identity. And Sitecore provides a set of tools to manage various aspects of security. And you have here the user manager. So this is how it shows. You have your usernames. For example, here you have a summary where you will see the domain, the name, the qualified name, what is the full name of the person if you want to add a name, the email, and some comment there. And then you can create new, edit, delete. Here you have the section to change password also help them change a password. You can disable or enable them and unlock a person. So let's say somebody tries too many times their password and they are locked. You come here as an administrator and you can unlock that user. Here you also, in your ribbon, on the upper part here in the menu, you can go access the role manager, the domain manager, the access viewer, and the security editor. Here you have the role manager. So basically, it's like a list of the different roles, and you can add a new one, edit it, or add a member to a specific role. Then you have the security editor where you can assign the access rights that roles and users should have to items in the content tree, for example. So you say, I want, this is the default, for example, that we were talking before. So by default, they do not have access. And in this case, this is the default anonymous. Then you have a specific administrator or a content editor, and you can say, yeah, a person the home, write in the home, rename it, use what access to give. Then you have the access viewer, so you can see, you can get the overview of the access rights that are assigned to your security accounts, users and roles. And you can get an overview of the access rights that are assigned to the security accounts, see an explanation for how the current settings have been resolved, and open the security editor also here in the user manager. And then you have access, we can see the domain manager. This is very simple, as I mentioned. Usually you only have default extranet and Sitecore, and you create and manage domains here. Then you have the security tab. In the content, also in the security tab in the content editor, you can access the security editor, just for you to know. Where else you can access this user and role management. As a competency number 4, it's content author support. So as a Sitecore administrator, you're not just managing the technical aspects of the platform, you're also supporting the people who use it daily, the content authors. So content authors are the lifeblood of your Sitecore environment. They are the ones creating and updating content that engages your audience. To support them effectively, you need to ensure that the tools and templates you provide are user-friendly and meet their needs. Some key areas to focus on includes that Sitecore's content structure is organized hierarchically in a content tree. You have templates to ensure consistency across content items. You have to understand the difference between a content tree, fields, layouts, renderings, presentation details. Sitecore's structure, it's similar to if you have Windows, when you go to the Windows Explorer, you have your folders on the left. That's the content tree, the organization you're going to have. Best practices would say you have their structure as your website will be. So within home, you will have your pages. Within those pages, your sub pages and things like that. Templates are define the structure and fields of content items. So they act as blueprints, determining the type of content an item can hold. By creating various templates, you can ensure consistency across your site. So you don't have to create a template for every page. You try to standardize and group the type of pages and only change the content of them. Then you have content items, which are the actual pieces of content within the content tree. They're instances of templates that hold the specific content for pages, articles, images, and other elements on your website. So each content item has its own set of fields based on the template it inherits. Then you have the fields where you would actually change the content. So you represent individual pieces of data within the content item, and they can be text, images, dates, or other type of content. The template defines the fields, and they provide a flexible way to manage and display content. Then you have layouts and renderings. So Sitecore uses layouts and renderings to control content on a web page. So layouts define the overall structure of the page, while rendering represents the individual components or modules. And combining them creates dynamic and customizable page structures. And then you have presentation details, which allow you to control the appearance and behavior of your content of different devices and channels. So how it should show on a website, how it should show on a mobile, so on a desktop, tablets, mobile devices. So as a summary, key thing, because they do have questions about this different types of components. You say layouts define the page structure where things go. Renderings are components that determine how content is displayed within the structure. Templates define the types of content and fields that can be created and stored in Sitecore. And then within presentation details, you have the data sources, which are the actual pieces of content created using templates, which are displayed on the page via the renderings. So this is a content editor. As you can see, this is an example content editor. You have your ribbon up here, the menu, where you can navigate, review your publish section here, where you can create versions. You can work on your different languages, work on your security. Here is the content tree, as I mentioned. And here you have the content area. So this is a field. For example, it could be a rich text field where you can access it and start working. Here in the content editor, you can also access the media library and the workbox. And so as best practices, if you right click on your content tree, you can add more information, like for example, workbox. And next to each of these items, you could see if they are, let's say, awaiting an approval or already approved. This is the experience editor. This is also an example. It's not that I work at L'Oreal, but this is an example. So usually you see here, they show you what's your workbox or your workflow state. So this item is in the approved workflow state. So what you see here is published right now. to start working on it, here you see it's a friendly user-friendly interface with what you see is what you get. So if I change, depending on your configuration, if I change this text on the menu or the image, I could change it from here. When you work on A/B testing or personalization, you work also from the experience editor, and you can add components to your page. You can work on the different how to publish it. On experiences where you can work on different personalizations or A/B testing and optimization, sorry, is where you can work on that, on your A/B testing and personalization. This case, in this configuration that I had, you have an option for Siteimprove. If you do an integration with Siteimprove, it can help you identify where your accessibility issues are in your page. This wasn't a very complicated integration, at least also the client mentioned that it was very useful. And this is Horizon. I believe it was Sitecore 10. After Sitecore 10.2, there was no more Horizon. I think in XP, they are thinking on bringing it back, maybe in future versions, but maybe as pages that they have currently on XM Cloud, which was a very useful, I think, a next generation content editing interface because it combines the best of content editor and experience editor. You can provide an intuitive and efficient way to manage content here. I'm showing you this because you might get questions about Horizon still in the test. So you have three main areas. So you have the content tree here. Here you have the page as it is, like it would be on the experience editor. And here you have some details from the item that you select. And up here you can select the components and you can start drag and dropping them also. And you have, they call these the pages editing tool, and you also have the content. This content is more or less like in the content independent of presentation, like the content editor if you select this one. Then you have the media library. You can access either from the main dashboard or you can access it from the content editor. And it's similar to the content editing section. You have your content here, where you will have your different documents, images uploaded here. And then there are two different methods to upload. This is also important that they might ask on the exam. What are the two methods to upload media items? And one is upload a file, so a single file. And then you have the upload files advanced. And this supports to upload multiple files simultaneously and apply upload options. So you can upload a zip archive. You can make uploaded media items versionable. So that's the kind of question that they might have, like, where do I make a media item versionable? And that's uploading it through using the upload files advanced. Or you can also, with this one, override existing media items. So now we move to competency 5, Sitecore architecture and containers. And understanding the architecture of Sitecore and its use of containers is essential for any system administrator. So especially as organizations increasingly move towards cloud-based and containerized environments, this is very important for you to understand. Sitecore architecture involves understanding how the platform is structured, including the roles of different servers, databases, and services. The knowledge is critical when planning deployments, scaling environments, and troubleshooting issues. You have to keep in mind that Sitecore product, the suite of Sitecore products contain more than 60 logical system roles or entities that can be scaled and configured in a variety of ways. When I talk and when Sitecore talks about these logical roles or logical entities, they represent the different functions or services that the platform provides. So think of these roles as specific teams within a company, with each having a specific responsibility. an example of this role is the content deployment, let's say, or the content manager. Those are roles. This structure allows Sitecore to be both flexible and scalable, ensuring it to meet the needs of the business. The roles define the specific functions and responsibilities assigned to different servers or instances within the Sitecore environment. So, as I said, there are some roles like the content delivery or content management, processing, reporting. They define the purpose and task of each server, contributing to the efficient functioning of the entire Sitecore system. So also as part, we need to understand specific roles, the main roles, let's say, for this as a Sitecore system administrator, you have the content delivery role. This role handles requests from website visitors and determines the appropriate content to serve and format to render this role. This role is crucial to effectively manage global web traffic and provide fallback scenarios for your website. So if you expect a regular high number of visitors, you can arrange your CD servers into clusters. You can also ensure that your servers are located as close as possible to the regions where you're servicing. In a production environment, the CD should not be combined with any other role. You can only combine the CD role with other roles in the following topology. So when you have a Sitecore Experience XM or Sitecore XP single, we will see more about this in a bit. The CD roles references other roles in the graph. So the content delivery will also reference the web database, security database, to be able to deliver what is expected from this role, from the content delivery. We have the content management role. This role, as you can see, is a bit more complex than the other one. This role enables you to create, manage, and publish content. The content management role handles the content delivery server accesses from the web database. So the content management role references various storage roles to manage and deliver content. A crucial storage role is the master database, which stores the master copy of all versions of every content in the media item published or unpublished across all languages and publishing targets. And the CM role references several search indexes. So you have here. Yep. When content is updated in the master database. The content management role adds that content to the master index. Roles described above, like the content delivery and the content management roles, are logical and do not represent physical or virtual servers, so databases, servers, or search engines. Some logical roles can be combined into single physical entities within a topology, depending on the objective. So we can go by product, for example. If we group them by product, roles are grouped based on the product for which they are licensed, installed, and used. And Sitecore, for example, with Sitecore consists of three major products: Sitecore Experience Manager, Sitecore Experience Platform, and Sitecore Experience Commerce. Each of them contains several logical entities that together with several other services or cloud service forms the entire functionality of the Sitecore platform. Just a quick thing, a topology in Sitecore refers to the way various roles or components of the system are arranged and deployed across servers or cloud environments. Think of it as a map of how Sitecore's different parts are set up to work together. Sitecore Experience Management Manager, this enables you to create, manage, and publish content to your website. You can use Sitecore XM, CMS only mode, with personalization conditions limited and data collection unavailable. These are some things that you might find, which is important for you to know for your clients, for your organization, and also for the exam. That is, they might ask, like, if you have a Sitecore XM CMS only mode, do you have any limitation on personalization? Yeah. Do you collect data? No. Since you do not collect data, Path Analyzer is incompatible with Sitecore XM. Sitecore XM can be single or scaled. A single topology means that the content delivery role and the content management role are configured in a single web app instance. This is only recommended for development and testing, and Sitecore advises against using XM single for the production environment. So another question could be, do you recommend XM single for production environment? No. XM scaled consists of the content delivery on one instance and the content management on a second instance. They both can be scaled horizontally to have multiple CD instances or a cluster of CDs, while the web database can be scaled into multiple web databases, but there can only be one master database. Here you can see some of the roles contained in the Experience Manager product. Now we move to the Sitecore Experience Platform product. Provides a larger set of services such as content management, digital marketing, analysis, and reporting. It is the most used Sitecore topology. Sitecore XP combines the feature of Sitecore XM, so Experience Manager, with the marketing and customer intelligence functionalities of XConnect, and XDB. So that's one thing to keep in mind. XConnect and XDB, where are they? You cannot have them in you do not have them in XM. So XDB, you don't have them in XM single, for example. Sitecore, okay, we already went through that. What else? Okay, it can be configured as Sitecore at XP single or XP scaled. XP single has core roles as CM, CD, processing, reporting, hosted in a single web app instance. Sitecore, when it's a single, Sitecore recommends XP single configuration only for local environments. And then XP Scaled has each role in its own web app instance. And then we have Sitecore Experience Commerce product. So Sitecore Experience Commerce is deployed on top of Sitecore XP. It provides tools to manage e-commerce storefronts. It also enables marketers and merchandisers to fully customize the end-to-end shopping experience at all stages of the transaction. So keep in mind, another thing that is very useful, they might say, I would like to go with just Sitecore XE. No, you can't. You need to deploy it on top of Sitecore XP. This can be configured as out of the box as single tenancy, which is a single storefront that is served by the CD role, or multi-tenancy setup, a single instance of a CD role and Commerce Engine can host multiple storefronts sites with tailored functionalities. Sitecore Experience Commerce is suited for companies that need a single integrated platform to establish or enhance their commerce capabilities by creating personalized customer journeys. Here again, you can see the different roles that are within this product. Then we have, these are the supported Sitecore topologies for containerized solutions. This is also part of the exam. So the first and most simple one is the XP workstation, now mostly referred as XP single or XP zero. This is crafted as a developer Docker workstation only, so this shouldn't be used for production. This topology is a strategic choice for developers, so seeking to streamline their development environments, minimizing memory overhead, download size, and complexity. This optimization extends to enhancing startup and shutdown times, so this offers an efficient and focused workspace. The supported roles here is the Sitecore identity role on production. That's all we could work, let's say, on production. Non-production roles, then we have the content manager, the XConnect server, search, XDB automation, Apache Solar, traffic reverse proxy. XM server, now mostly referred as XM Scale or XM1, is designed for both production and non-production environments. So XM Scale can optimize deployment time and minimize resource overhead in a non-production scenario, by excluding the content delivery role from the Docker Compose configuration. So then you have in supported roles, production role type, content management, content delivery, Sitecore identity. Non-production roles, then you have the SQL Server, Apache, Solar, Redis, and Traffic. Then you have XP Server, mostly referred as XP Scale or XP1. This is for production and non-production Docker environments. This one empowers you to replicate the exact configuration used in production, providing a real life environment for testing and development. But this topology demands substantial resources for optimal performance. So if you have the option, this is the best because you can develop and test in something that is going to be a replica of your production environment, but it takes a lot of resources. So production role types, you can use most of them, and non-production role types then as these other ones. Competency 5 still includes setting up the environment using containers. So the best way to learn this is also to apply it and actually setting up an environment for yourself. You need to check Windows prerequisites, your hardware prerequisites. You need to install Docker, switch to Windows containers if you didn't do it before. You verify the installation, so Sitecore license file, environment variable file. You work with Docker examples repository to launch a containerized solution. Clone the Docker examples repository, install Sitecore Docker tools, populate variables in the environment file. The 6 variables that you need to populate are the Sitecore admin password, the SQL SA password, telerik encryption key, Sitecore secret, Sitecore ID secret, Sitecore ID certificate, a Sitecore ID certificate password. And then you need to configure TLS HTTPS certificates, add Windows host file entries, and then you can launch your Sitecore environment in Docker. The competency 6 is installing, updating, and upgrades of Sitecore. So the installation, you need to know how to set up a new Sitecore instance, including configuration servers, databases, and any dependencies. A Sitecore 10 system administrator should be able to install Sitecore XP Single. To do so, you need to work with Sitecore installation packages, download your Sitecore installation framework, or use the Sitecore Installation Assistant, SIA, and perform Sitecore XP topology installation. So installing Sitecore XP0 with the Sitecore install framework, which is here. First, you need to identify and download the Sitecore package for your topology from the Sitecore developer portal. Here you will find downloadable files for every Sitecore product. It also shows the latest Sitecore updates, technical documentation, blogs. You will find there also guides how to install it. So there you have the best way to study and learn about this. Using Sitecore Installation Assistant, you download Sitecore Installation Assistant, unpack it, move it where you want to install your Sitecore XP on a computer, check prerequisites, and then in the folder where your SIA is unpacked, you run it and you follow the guides that SIA asks you to. This you need to check the differences. This might be a question in the exam also. Sitecore regularly releases product updates as feature releases, updates, and hotfixes. So this is also important to know what kind of updates Sitecore release. So feature releases introduce significant functionalities and are labeled with a 2-level version number and initial release. Updates address specific issues with a product version and are cumulative, with each subsequent update containing the fixes. And hot fixes are for isolated issues. In an upgrade is when you move from an older version of Sitecore XP to a newer one. So you need to, there are 3 components: Sitecore versioning policy, technical steps for upgrades, and managing your organization content strategy. Competency 7 is performance maximization and health monitoring. So as a Sitecore administrator, one of your key responsibilities is to ensure the platform runs smoothly and efficiently. So health monitoring, keep an eye on the health of your Sitecore environment. This includes tools like Sitecore Log Analyzer, monitoring performance counters, and set up alerts for potential issues. Sitecore Index update strategies. These are strategies that you set up. These strategies can be, for example, rebuild your index after a full publish. So triggers a full index rebuild after a full publish process is completed. Another one is, let me see, what was another one that could be used? Interval asynchronous, so it triggers a time interval not on publish end event, useful for master database indexes in single server environments. You could have a manual also, disables automatic index updates requiring manual rebuild, reserved for special situations. So these different strategies, the best is also to go over into detail with the Sitecore documentation. You have also these influences of deployment type. So it is on-premise or on cloud. It will significantly impact your Sitecore solution performance. So on-premise deployment may experience better performance than cloud deployment. Slower performance on the cloud can be mitigated by opting for higher and more powerful Azure tiers. And then you have application performance management services within the deployment type. So deployment type influences the availability of APMs. And you might consider including compatibility with tools like Dynatrace for Sitecore XP environment monitoring. And then you have jobs viewer. So regularly checking the jobs viewer is essential for understanding the processing on the background jobs. This might also impact on the performance of your website. If you're publishing something and it takes very long to publish, then you should check your jobs viewer. So performance, sorry, performance maximization involves optimizing your check, let me see, sorry, comprehensive cache tuning as a crucial practice. There are 3 general practices that support performance maximization, which are these ones. So you can work with checkx SQL server index fragmentation, so index management. You can also work on cleanup database tables. So your perform issues may arise when event queue or publish queue tables become too large. The event queue statistic tools provides an overview of events and last process timestamps. These you can find, let's say you want to clean up your databases, you go to your control panel. There you had your cleanup database table, and you can access to the event queue and publish queue tables. Then you can conduct cache tuning, the first one, sorry. Here you can tailor the caching strategies based on your deployment type and Sitecore version. Regularly reviewing and optimizing this cache setting should be done to align with evolving system requirements. And so, for example, how do you conduct a cache tuning is you use a load testing tool and then simulate peak load conditions. You start a load test hitting all items in all languages to simulate visits. And then you navigate to the Sitecore admin cache page and monitor this. And then you optimize cache performances setting up in Sitecore. So the key, if you want to dive into more specific ways, also in the Sitecore documentation, you can find specific strategies on how to address this. And ideally, you should go for a cache which is stable, not changing during these load tests. Then competency 8 is leveraging on Sitecore support services, levels of Sitecore support. You have self-service portal, standard support, 24/7 premium support. These you should know these differences. This definitely goes on the exam, but it's also very important for your organization to know which one should we choose. The self-service portal, which is, as it says, self-service is a knowledge repository. That's it. Then you have the standard support, where you have access to the portal assistance. You can create, update, or track support cases. And usually they respond within 1 to 3 days based on the issue severity. And then you have the top, of course, the 24/7 premium support. This operates 24/7, 365 days a year, and is accessible to all Sitecore customers that would like to address this. Sitecore support is in English and in Japanese. And you can also have your SLAs or service level agreement outlines specific for a specific relationship between an organization and Sitecore. So the support portal basics enables you to create, edit, and track support cases inside for Sitecore XP, XC, and Content Hub. You need to be an active a Sitecore content customer or partner, and have an account registered in profilesitecore.net. And here you have 3 levels of access: access to support cases, read-only, or access to cloud services in the case that you have a cloud instance. Then you submit, edit, or view support cases at this website in support.sitecore.com. And then you need to also consider the life cycle support phases. Depending this, you can check on the Sitecore website. Depending on the version that you have, you might have only the mainstream support phase, the extended support phase, or the sustaining support phase, which is the timeline that they will support. So I know that Sitecore 10.2, I believe, I think was ending, the mainstream support phase was ending between this year and the end of this year. So this you need to consider for your clients and in your organization. And now we can move to our final study tips and time management. So first, be aware it's not an open question exam. It's a multiple question, scenario-based question, and practical tasks. So they might come with an error log and be like, what should we do here? Usually you will see there, I don't know, in the one that I got is index is not working, or somewhere in the error it might describe the solution, and you need to understand how to work, especially on your control panel, to fix this. You should set up a practice environment, so having hands-on practice environments is crucial. You should join study groups. So in your organization, if a couple of you are going to be studying, it's best for this. So you study on your own, and then you get together and you work on your doubts and your experience. And then to take practice exams. This one is a bit tricky because, let's say, the only way you can access some practice exams is through Sitecore Learning, Sitecore 10 System Administrator Study Guide. But you might find also practice exams in Pluralsight, Coursera, Udemy, or somewhere in the web. I tried, it was very difficult to find other questions. So mainly it was on Sitecore Learning. Understand the timing. So you have 100 minutes for 50 questions. So that it's about 2 minutes for every question. So if you're taking longer, then you should move to the next one. You can tag a question to address it later. Read it carefully. Make sure you understand what's being asked, as some questions might be, you might think it's tricky. It's not that their effort is to make it tricky, but the way it's wrote, or is because it's not your native language, it might also influence on the way you understand it. So read it carefully. As I said, skip and return. If you're not sure about a question, don't spend much time on it. Mark it and move on. Watch the clock. You cannot have a smartwatch in the session. You should have like a normal watch if you want to check. You also have a timer on the menu on the top of your screen showing the time on your exam. So don't let it stress you, but check to make sure that you're advancing at a regular pace and you're not stuck in one question. And then if you have time at the end, double check your answers. So just a quick recap of what we've done today. We discussed the 8 core competences. I know some of them we went really fast. It's a lot of information. So yeah, you need to take advantage of knowledge sharing, the community, Sitecore documents. If possible, you should be able to have your environment where you can try, test, mess with it, so you can better understand it. You need to be clear on the Sitecore architecture and containers. Even though if you don't use containers, you still need to know about this. Sitecore installation updates and upgrades, optimizing performance, and Sitecore support services. Remember, certification is not just about passing the exam, it's about enhancing your skills, gaining competences, and furthering your career. If you have the certification, also people will know that, okay, he knows about Sitecore. So stay motivated, keep learning, and you will do great. Thank you.
Hello. Any questions, guys? You can please put in the chat section. And thank you, Augusto. That was really great session. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Yamin. Yeah, I hope it helps. It's a lot of information. As you can see, 8 competences. You could deep dive on each one of those for a long time. but yeah, I wanted to share that with everybody. I will
Yeah, that is really
also be
helpful because
yeah.
people are like that is really helpful because we'll be seeing the normal certification but not the admin certification. So I think that's a different perspective and different agenda we had covered today. So I think that's really great, helpful and useful. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's useful because usually, yeah, I've seen developers go for the Sitecore developer certification, but I've talked with, as I'm a PM, I work with these Sitecore projects. I work with my team, and they sometimes working so isolated from the actual way to work on Sitecore. This could be a solution. So for especially front-end developers, for example, it would be ideal for them to understand this, so they can better understand how to better develop. Also, backend developers, you need to know how to use Sitecore. I haven't taken the Sitecore developer certification test or training. Maybe you go through some parts of the dashboard and also some of the content in the actual CM, say, or XP. But yeah, it's very. This one I thought it was very useful to get to a hold of Sitecore power, let's say.
I agree with you totally. Yeah. I don't think we have any questions because people are still digesting the data and content. So
Let's hope it's
the
that, and they were not bored
no, no,
on
no.
so much information.
No, no, definitely not.
Okay,
Okay then.
and yeah, you have here my contact. You can also reach out, LinkedIn or Twitter or X, let's say Sitecore Augusto. And in the next few weeks, I will also publish a blog with a bit more information than what we had here on the 8 competences and strategies, just to keep in mind.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thanks, everyone.